felt this is an organization that really understood the needs of the founders.
I would say look at the track records of Accelerating Asia Ventures has done and look at how far we have progressed before them and after the program.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone in the room today. And welcome to Accelerating Asia Cohort 9's Virtual Pitch Day, also known as Demo Day number 2. So for those who don't know, this is actually our first cohort ever that we're holding 2 demo days, one in person in Singapore last week, and now today virtually for everyone else around the globe. All right, so thank you so much for everyone dialing in. I know that there's no chat operations today, but don't worry, you'll be able to share and ask questions, most importantly, later on, and I'll guide you through that later. My name is Bettina Gamboa. I am the program manager here at Accelerating Asia, and welcome everyone to our virtual demo day. So I know a lot of you guys are dialing in from in the middle of work. It's a very busy day and busy Wednesday for a lot of you. So thank you for joining us. And we're super happy to have you here today. Don't worry, we'll make this as snappy as we can because I know everyone is hustling. Even the founders who are here are hustling as well. So let's get to it. Before we go into the meat of the program, I have a few things to share about Accelerating Asia. Accelerating Asia is a VC accelerator for pre-Series A tech startups across South and Southeast Asia. This is what we do. So we have our VC fund, which invests on a cohort basis. And we've had we're closing up our 9th cohort today. We have our flagship accelerator, which we run 1 to 2 times a year. So we're quite happy to have 77 portfolio companies under our wing today. And last but not the least, we also partner with other organizations to support entrepreneurs the same way we do. And this is our guiding belief that entrepreneurs are one of humanity's greatest catalysts for positive change. And Cohort 9 is a prime example of that, and you'll see why later. All right, let's get started. So we are a mighty team of about 13 people, and we're across the region. And honestly, it's been such a wild ride for us going up to Cohort 9. It's been 5 years since Accelerating Asia started. And later on, you'll meet some of my team members who are on the screen later. And before we get started, I want to go over a few housekeeping rules. Even virtually, we do have housekeeping rules as well. The first thing is that as a viewer, we advise you guys to change to side-by-side mode. The reason is that you can see the presentation on one side and the speaker on the other to make everything a better viewing experience for you. And you can adjust it to change if you want to see the deck to be bigger or you want to see the screen to be the presenter's screen to be bigger. All right. And the second thing is that after each pitch, we will have 3-minute pitches per company. There will be a few minutes dedicated to Q&A. And as you can see, there's a Q&A function in the navigation bar below. So you can put in your questions, but letting you know already that 90 minutes is quite short. So we will try our best to answer as many questions as possible that could add value to the pitches that you'll be hearing today. Again, it's going to be quite a snappy program. So to help you guys keep up with who's presenting, who's this startup speaking, which startup does this founder belong to, we advise you guys to scan the QR code on the right-hand side of the screen to show the one-pagers of our startups, including who they are, the highlights over the program, and details about their raise. And of course, if you want to get in touch with Accelerating Asia about our fund, you can scan the left-hand side. And speaking of our fund, I think this is a good time for me to introduce our first speaker before the pitches. to talk a bit about accelerating Asia ventures and our portfolio. So I'd like to call onto the stage, virtual stage, our general partner and co-founder, Craig Dixon.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Bettina. Really happy to be here, everybody. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Like Bettina said, we'll get into the pitches in just a second. She already did a call out for connecting to these current teams and also to the fund side if you're interested in that. But we do have a large portfolio of startups. So beyond the startups you see today, we have about 70 others, and many of them are also fundraising. So please do check out our larger portfolio. I'm just going to take a few minutes to run over where we're at as a business, our funds, and our startups, and talk a little bit about how we look at early stage investing in startups that have limited metrics and other ways to kind of analyze a business. So jumping into the Fund 1 track record. So our Fund 1 started in 2019 with its first deployments. And it was deploying for about 3 years, 33 investments. We're really proud of the performance to date of our startups. So if you look at that top number on the right, MOIC is just a fancy word for multiple, right? So the fund is performing at a 5.5x multiple in just a few years. And for some context there, the typical goal of a VC is to get a 3x on that number over 10 years. And so it's looking extremely good that we're already outperforming in the early days. Now, moving to the bottom left, we never like to see startups fail, but when you're in startups, I'm an ex-co-founder myself, most of them fail. And that number for early stage is as high as 50, 60, 70%. So far, we're also trending way below on write-offs. And one of our favorite numbers for all of our startups in the entire portfolio of 80 companies is 100% of them have been able to raise external capital from investors. And that's a really good sign that they have a really good chance to not fail and to succeed really well. We're also really proud of our impact framework and measurements. We have obviously data here on our very high rate of startups with female co-founders and gender lens. But a very substantial portion of our investors, both in our fund and in our portfolio companies, are impact investors, as well as regular investors looking for that multiple. So if that's you, please do reach out and we can match you with the startups that are the best fit for you. So moving on to Fund 2, a newer vintage, as they say. So we just started deploying around a year and a half or 2 years ago. 43 investments already. This fund will have over 100 investments in it, and we have a specific reason why we target a high number of startups in a fund, and happy to dig into that another time with investors. Well, we're already trending really well. That MOIC, or multiple on invested capital, is already almost up to 3x in a very short period of time. And again, very low write-off numbers and very high female and gender lens numbers and other impact measurements. So far, things are working really well. And I think you'll see tonight why as you look at the startups and how impressive they are and how impressive their traction has been in just a short period of time going through the three-month accelerator program. I'm going to highlight some of the startups in the different funds to show you which ones are kind of driving that. As we know, venture is a power law game. And so typically a fairly small minority of the investments drive very much an outsized portion of the ROI, right? Or the MOIC, as we saw before. So the DriveLaw is a car sharing app based in Singapore, has expanded into Australia, looking to go into other markets as well. They've recently been closing out a $5 million on a $50 million valuation. And luckily we got in fairly early. And so, obviously it's a paper return, but a really good short-term investment. And they look to be raising a substantially higher round soon, which will make that number go even higher. Next, I want to highlight iFarmer. This is a great agri-tech, fintech company out of Bangladesh. They already have hundreds of thousands of farmers on their network going into private label products, consulting, and full supply chain from origin to market. They also have closed out a 5 on 50 million and are looking and are getting ready to launch a much larger round. And so again, that multiple number will go up, and the MOIC on the Fund 1 number in the next demo day will be much higher as well, right? So Metex also closed out a nice round, upwards of 40 million valuation. They are connecting European fashion designers to Bangladeshi garment manufacturers, so taking advantage of that, a lot of the exodus from China into lower cost and diversification of the supply chain from China into other markets. And they'll be launching another round this year as well. Swap is a re-commerce, also at a very, very impressive multiple, closing in on $8 million a month in revenue and looking to also launch a much bigger round in the not too distant future, probably Q2 of this year. And then TransTrack, I think you saw Anggia in the video earlier, super impressive founder. They're doing fleet telematics in Indonesia. Recently closed out a nice round and just launched a new round, which is not reflected in these numbers, a $15 million round at a really nice valuation, which will dramatically raise this multiple for our portfolio in the next quarter or two. So moving into fund two, we have a marketing tech, originally from Bangladesh, but now global. And this is a really interesting sub-thesis. About 10% of our portfolio companies end up moving to the United States. And the reason is often because they organically start attracting US clients who tend to be easier to sell to, a higher ARPU or higher revenue per client, easier to fundraise once you have that kind of US presence. And so there's a nice arbitrage when you start a business in Asia and your operations and cost basis remains in Asia, but you can go to the US for your customers and your fundraising. You can get a nice multiple on how much you raise your valuation, and then obviously a multiple on your deployment of capital because your US dollar goes much farther in your home country where you tend to keep a lot of your operations. GiftPack, same thing. They started in Asia, but have now moved to the US, working mainly with Fortune 500 enterprise customers on sourcing gifting for employees and customers, and moving into a few new markets. They're targeting around $22 million of revenue in the next quarter, and will be closing out a Series A this year at, again, a substantially higher multiple than you see here. Okay, so going into 2024, I think we see several kind of headwinds and opportunities. This is kind of 2024 generally from a VC perspective. So we're looking at potential rate cuts in the United States. That looks imminent, although who knows? But that is a good signal for VC and startups as investors kind of get out of T-bills paying 5% and look for some higher yielding assets. They'll look into more risky options such as VC and startups. So potentially helps that. We are looking at a potential recession, although nobody knows. There's talk about the yield curve being inverted, but it's been like that for a while. So who knows? But there's a lot of worries about, a number of flashpoints around the world on the war front. So Middle East, Ukraine, obviously, and then China has had some negative news economically speaking, and just recently, I think Hong Kong court ordered the liquidation of Evergrande, and we'll see how that plays out. And then we have the U.S. election, which who knows how that's going to go, but will probably be good for Twitter and newspapers. So that's 2024 generally. I think specific to VC, besides the kind of interest rate cuts, which would be beneficial for VC typically, we're seeing tons of secondaries, tons of markdowns on those kind of overinflated valuations that came out of the last few years. We're seeing a lot more family offices diversified into VC. I think several reasons for that. I guess chasing yield, moving into more faster growing markets from their traditional markets. And then a lot of new generations taking over management of at least a portion of that capital has resulted in that. And we're seeing a lot more specialist VCs, especially in the United States, a lot more micro funds, a lot more emerging funds. Most of the data points to the fact that newer fund managers and smaller fund managers outperform larger and legacy fund managers. And then you're also seeing like micro-targeted VCs. And that's starting to come into Asia, but it tends to happen in the US first and then kind of come over here at about a 3-year lag. And then a lot more emerging market activity. What we saw in the downturn over the past few years was a lot of global conservatism around VC and startups. And so a lot of the emerging markets lost that international exposure to investors, which obviously provides capital, but also provides long-term expertise to help them go cross-border, expand into new markets, access different areas of capital, and also get into exit mode and exit. And so we're starting to see that reverse, and hopefully that'll continue in 2024, especially for us, because that's where most of our capital is deployed, right? So anyway, finally on this topic, specific to accelerating Asia, we don't have any major changes. Everything's working quite well. And again, I think the proof is in the startups you'll see in just a minute. But we are always looking to continuously improve and make things better, make things more efficient, and essentially run the company as much like a startup as we can. And so on that note, I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking about something that I find really interesting. So we all know that at the very early stage of investing, there's very limited quantitative data, right? There's not so many metrics or track record. And what there is could change at a moment. There could be a pivot, there could be a market disruption, right? So when you're investing at the stage we invest at, you're really investing in the people. And so how do you do that in a systematic way? How do you create quantitative evaluation frameworks in a qualitative environment, right? And so I've been kind of thinking about this for a long time. I think all of the investors out there do what I'm about to talk about in their own way. I've kind of landed on an established framework called the Big Five, or the Ocean framework, as a way to create, I guess, more science, or more, a more scientifically proven way to try to do this. So Ocean, or the Big Five, is a psychometric test widely used by psychotherapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, and it's considered the most accurate way to evaluate a person on 5 metrics. And sorry, MBTI fans, but that one's more of like a cool, fun thing to do, and I'm sure it's useful and it's not completely nonsense. But Ocean is considered to be kind of the gold standard in the psychology community. So what is it? It's essentially 5 portions of the test, and you score, high, low, medium on these things. So it's openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Hence the kind of Ocean nickname. And the idea here is, if you understand these, and I highly recommend you do this for yourself. I found it really valuable for myself. But you can understand who you are. You can match your temperament to your environment, right? And so you can think about where that might be important. I think today we're going to talk about career as a reason why that's important. So are you in the right job, right? And that goes for people in larger companies and people in startups and people who are doing all sorts of different things. Are you the right type of person to be in that, right? But there's other ways to think about it. Are you in the right city or country that matches your personality and the way you like to behave or express yourself? And if not, there can be friction there. Are you in the wrong culture, right? Maybe you fit better in another country or another place. It might help you find a good partner, because if you have this type of predilection as a personality type, maybe you're going to be a better fit with somebody who has the same or not the same, right? And there's data around that you can also look at. But again, today we're talking more about career, right? So this is rhetorical, and we did it in person, and I was like, everyone shout out, but obviously we can't do that today. So I want you to think about, what are the 2 of the Ocean traits that are best to score highly in if you work in a large organization, right? And so here they are again. So think about it. What are the 2 out of the 5 traits that people in large organizations should score highly in? And there's actually a number of large companies that use this test, and they use this to at least partially evaluate who they might hire. So hiring managers might use this, right? So the answer is conscientiousness, number 1. And the other answer for a large company is agreeableness, right? So conscientiousness essentially means you are detail-oriented, you do what you say you're going to do, you show up on time for meetings, etc. And agreeableness is you kind of, you can get along, you don't ask maybe too many questions, you don't create friction. And that's really important for a large organization, right? But what 2 traits are ideal for a startup founder to score highly in, right? And I'll go back to the answers and just think about it. So one of them is the same. So I'll just give that away. So one of them is conscientiousness again. So you do want a founder who's highly organized, who gets back to you quickly with deliverables or answers your questions, has that information ready to go, understands their business, understands their metrics, right? And we do test for this in our evaluation phase on the conscientious side. But the other one is different. So agreeableness is actually not a trait that you need to score highly in. And in fact, if you score too highly in, it's a negative for founders. The other one, if you haven't guessed it already, is openness, right? You need to be open to new ideas. And typically, people who are high in openness are very creative people. And so startup founders need to have this really rare combination of being organized and conscientious, but also being highly creative and letting their minds out of the box. And in fact, only about 3% of the population gave it away. Only about 3% of the population has this combination. And so part of the evaluation we do at Accelerating Asia, and we're going to be implementing the testing regime, is to find out, are these founders who've applied to our program part of that 3%, right? And so why is that important, right? So we talked a little bit about it already. but you're diligent, detail-oriented, efficient with time, et cetera. Openness, I think, something investors already look for. They call it coachability. But you also need to have that kind of innovativeness, the curiosity, and always asking why can't we do this, right? Because somebody's never done it before. Well, why not? Why can't I do it, right? So always having the ability or the belief that you can potentially succeed where others haven't, right? So anyway, that's all the time I'll take on that. I would like to invite anyone who's interested to connect with me on that. And of course, we do have a small portion of our second fund left. So if there's anybody who's interested in looking at the funds, we do give first right of refusal in our deal flow to our investors in our fund, but also happy to talk to anybody about portfolio companies, the ones, again, tonight or other ones in our portfolio. That's it for me. We will get right into the pitches. I want to hand it over to our awesome entrepreneur in residence who's going to do a little intro. Please, I think, Bettina, are you doing the intro? I guess I'm handing it back to Bettina. So over to Bettina to take us through the rest of the program. And thanks, everybody, for listening to that.
Thanks, Greg. He took my next line. So I'd like to bring onto the stage, the virtual stage, our entrepreneur and residence, Alex Miller.
Hey guys, great to see everybody today. Really exciting to have another demo day, another cohort done and dusted. Thank you so much for your time, for coming and your attention. And I'm just really, really excited and happy to tell you about Cohort 9, which was a fantastic cohort. This cohort started with 639 applications. So we were highly selective, and we, in the end, selected 8 teams that were just, too good to be true almost. Fantastic cohort. These 8 teams are comprised of people from around the region. We've had a great time together, all the way in the East, from Japan to all the way in the West. In Pakistan, we have companies in India, we have companies in Bangladesh, we continue to support Singapore, and our first investment in Sri Lanka this time is going exceedingly well, as you'll see. So these 8 companies have really diverse business models, from AI analytics to materials technology to fintech to edtech, to SaaS marketing technologies, to EV fleet management technology, even a research management marketplace. And finally, we also have a VC deal tech startup, which I hope you'll get a chance to experience in the near future yourselves. So what is this program? The program is about growth. It's about growing your operational excellence as a founder, growing your network, trying to grow your fundraise as well. And these things all kind of tie together really nicely. And we've put together a 14-week curriculum for the startups. We have a weekly stand-up every Monday morning. We have growth jams and mentor nights. We have master classes and learning sessions and credits also from our partners. And we have VC pitch nights every week as well, which is super fun for everybody. But we started it all here in Bali. We get together, and because we got to share so much deep stuff about our companies, we want to get together and really form tight relationships and bonds. And I have to say, it was really great getting to know you guys. And I'm just like so happy to have worked with you and to have developed great relationships with you guys. Now, every week we have a stand-up. In the stand-up, we go over our top-line metrics, our big objectives for the week, our asks from the community. And again, this really benefits from that in-person time that we develop those relationships in Bali and also later in the program. Then we have, again, master classes. So here's the co-founder of Aspire telling everybody and teaching everybody about how to create and keep a customer, which is so important for product market fit, which was basically what he was there to talk about. We also have our growth jams where we kind of deep dive into all the different growth things, whether that's how to hire or fire your salespeople, as may be, or in this case, we're looking at a deep dive in SEO that the founders were working on that week. And here we're looking at, and then next we have our mentor nights. So we have mentor nights, and we're also starting to offer mentor office hours, which has gone really well. And we'd love to invite you guys to apply to be mentors and join our mentor program. We have basically 3 mentor speed datings, a cohort, and then we also have a way to offer your office hours to our cohorts and maybe soon our alumni as well. And then one of the most important things in the cohort is the weekly pitch nights. So we bring in VCs from around the region, even around the world, to pitch. So here we had one of the partners at Monks Hill Ventures, one of the best venture capital firms in Singapore, come, and then everybody pitches for 3 minutes, and then they get 6 minutes of the most direct feedback I've ever heard from the partners. We had Team Ignite Ventures coming from San Francisco. We had also Insignia. We have basically some of the best investors in the region. And then next up, we have one-on-ones. I get to actually meet these guys every week. We dig in on all of those similar type of problems that people face. Also, their fundraising, their pitching. We do pitch practice. We work on the business model. And this is really the most rewarding part of my job. And I hope it's useful for them. I've heard good things. So, they also get to meet with Craig on demand as well. So they get really good time, one-on-one time with us, and we work on them on all this stuff. And so it's been really a great program. We've had a lot of really good times. And we've also seen some incredible traction and incredible growth in this cohort. Now, these startups, they're going to get into these numbers, but you can see that they're all pretty much going straight up into the right. So these are fantastic investment opportunities. If you do want to invest, we showed you that QR code earlier. You can reach out directly to the founders. I also have connections, and Bettina and Craig also have connections. So just reach out to any of us and we'll happily connect you straight into the deals that are going down. Most of them have minimum, very low minimum check sizes, so you can get right in. If you're looking for greater diversity, of course, you can come to us as a fund. And so I do want to say that while those numbers look fantastic, this is just the beginning for these startups. They're just about to kick off their major fundraising. Most of the time where they're, early institutional investor. And so they're growing up really fast. And this is a great time to get in if you want to experience that late stage, that kind of outlier growth that I think all of these startups represent. Of the 600 and more applications we saw, these guys are fantastic. So I'm just so excited to see them pitch again. And without further ado, let's go for it. Let's pitch, guys. Is everybody excited? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I am. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. So now that we have seen what they've been up to for the last 3 months, I think we can get right to why everyone's here, which is the pitches. All right. So first off, I'd like to introduce the CEO and co-founder of Auptimate, Olivier Tu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Alex, thanks for the introduction. Bettina, thanks for the introduction as well. So we are Auptimate, and we're here to change the way deals are made in Asia. I'll start with a story. This is Emma. Emma is an ex-employee in some of the biggest firms, biggest startups here in Asia, an angel investor herself. She wants to build a syndicate to connect her network of investors to early stage startups that are really raising funds in the region. And for that, she will build a syndicate. The way to build a syndicate traditionally is to go to a law firm, spend over 20 hours in time, $10,000 in fees, a corporate services firm, more hours, more fees spent, and on top of that, take a lot of time coordinating with the investors, with the startup to get the deal done. The timeline is typically a minimum of 6 weeks to close a deal. We've got a solution for that. Not only is it much faster, paperless, digital, cheaper, half the price of traditional options, but also we make a sophisticated vehicle easy to understand and easy to operate. Our solution is an online platform that combines digital KYC, the ability to create a deal, invite your investors, track where they are in the process, and on top of that, operate your vehicle on an ongoing basis. Using the Auptimate way, Emma saves on average 50 and plus hours and over $20,000 in costs. Our clients are usually very happy with the outcome. So why are we doing that in Asia and why now? Well, there's been an increase in funding requests for early stage startups with over 1,000 early stage startups in Southeast Asia. There's also the rise of the angel investor. Yourselves, for example, are interested in finding early stage startups to put small tickets in. And finally, we're the first movers in Asia, the first syndicate platform. And that's really shown by the traction we've been able to generate, culminating in $47,000 in revenue in December. We had a really good month. We've multiplied by 7 our revenue in over 7 months. And our annualized revenue is over 500K right now. Finally, we've set up 74 SPVs in 2023. These are some of our clients. They range from fund managers, syndicate platforms, but also startups themselves. They want to set up roll-up vehicles. The market opportunity is for us to capture everything ranging from syndicates, SPVs, and fund administration in Southeast Asia. And the yearly revenue spent in these type of vehicles in Southeast Asia is over 100 million yearly. We're working on other products and features to tap that market, investor matchmaking, co-investment opportunities for syndicates, and also regulated structures. We've got a really great team. The three of us combine over 50 years in experience in the domain of fund administration, entrepreneurship, and legal services, ex-lawyers, ex-entrepreneurs. We're asking $500,000 to generate $1 million in revenue in this year, do some key hires, and of course, our vision is to do 50% of the deals through the Auptimate platforms in the venture space. These are global rounds. The biggest angel list in the US, valued over 10 billion, raised a round of 100 million. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Olivier. So thank you for your pitch. And now we do have a few questions for you before you hop off the stage, right? So just a reminder to everyone that you can send in questions in the Q&A and we'll try to fit it in the short 3 minutes that we have. All right, so the first question is, what is your ideal customer profile? So you mentioned that sometimes it's startups, sometimes it's fund managers. So who exactly is your ideal customer?
Well, we can segment our customers in broadly 3 categories for the time being. I think first and foremost, we are chasing the angel syndicates in the region, and we are trying to evangelize and build solutions for syndicate of angels. But founders as well have used our product to do founder SPVs and fund managers themselves when they want to do vehicles on the side of their funds.
Okay. And how big is this market, the market segments that you just mentioned?
Well, in Southeast Asia itself, over $10 billion in deals took place in 2023. This is really what we want to capture through the Auptimate platform.
Okay. All right. And you also mentioned that you're 3 co-founders. So why exactly are you guys the best team to execute this now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Well, we've been, I would say, veterans in the legal and corporate services industry, and ourselves were frustrated by the lack of automation, digitization, and how much clients were faced with, legacy solutions, not efficient and costly. So our mission is really to change that, to make it, better experience, and to drive more deals in the region. So the 3 of us have all MBAs. David was an ex-entrepreneur. Brandon himself, a Cayman's fund lawyer, and myself, I was working in the corporate services provider for over 10 years. Okay.
All right. So thank you for that. And we do have another question that just came in. So who are your competitors exactly? I believe you had a slide on this if you would like to expound more.
So our real competition would be syndicate platforms globally. I think we see platforms in the US, we see platforms in the UK. In Southeast Asia, no real competitor doing it the way we do. But you can also look at a competition being legacy providers, piecing up different solutions from a law firm, a corporate services firm. And really, this is what we're trying to disrupt and change in the region and offer a solution which is more appropriate for clients in Southeast Asia.
All right. Thank you for that, Olivier. And last question is, what are your expansion plans from this day forward?
We're planning to roll up other SPV products. We're planning to build a platform for emerging fund managers to launch their funds as well. We're hoping to get this up and running by the end of the year. But we're also looking at a geographical expansion. Other markets, there's been a lot of interest in some jurisdictions like the Middle East, where there are no real solutions, no native solutions. Maybe Europe as well.
Okay, thank you, Olivier, and thank you for your pitch. So for those who want to get in touch with Olivier, his email is in the chat, and he's also mentioned how to reach out to him. So thank you for that. All right, we started in Singapore, and now let's head over to South Asia in a country called Bangladesh. I'd like to call on our second pitcher of the day, the CEO and co-founder of Interactive Cares, Rara Al Samir.
Hi, everyone. This is Samir. I'm the founder and CEO of Interactive Cares. Interactive Cares is the leading platform for job placement and upskilling in Bangladesh. Let us all hear a story about the nascent education system in Bangladesh. Here is Akib. Akib is a recent graduate and he is searching for jobs for the last 2 years, but unfortunately, he is unemployed. This is not just a random story. This is a common story of 3.7 million people, including 66% graduates every year in Bangladesh. The reasons are lack of practical and skill developments in native language. For solving this, we are here with Interactive Cares. Interactive Cares is the leading platform for job placement and upskilling in Bangladesh, and we help Bangladeshi people to get better jobs. Our target market belongs to university students, young professionals, and freelancers, and their age group is 16 to 30. That creates the market opportunity of $10 billion US. As you know, Bangladesh is having a really large population of 180 million people. 60% of the population are young, and 35% of their each household income goes directly into education. And the market is growing 25% year on year. We have not only built a great product, we have built a great business too. Last month, our revenue was $216,000 US, and we are growing 20% month on month. We already made 3x revenue compared to last year, December, and currently we are cash flow positive. In Interactive Cares, currently we are having 130 plus online cohort-based learning programs to teach you the latest tech skills. And our students are learning these programs with the help of AI. We have partnership with more than 100 companies and 40 universities to get better talents and better students. Our job placement facility gives you extra care. That's why more than 6,500 students got jobs and internships from Interactive Cares. And their salary raised up to 300% in their current working place. Our business model is really simple. We make money from selling courses, and also we make money from each successful placement. Our business model is proven in other markets. Companies like Upgrad and Emeritus in India and Bloomtech in US raised more than $1 billion, and currently they are cash flow positive. We have a highly balanced and passionate team who are having 30 years of relevant and combined experience and highly passionate about solving the unemployment problem in Bangladesh. We already raised $480,000 US, and for this round, we are raising $1.5 million US. Half of the round is already committed. This will help us to reach $10 million US ARR in next 15 months to place more 20,000 people in jobs. We are on a mission to solve unemployment problem. Join us, our mission to place 1 million people in jobs in next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samir. Until today, I still get goosebumps whenever you show your traction slide. All right, so thank you for that, Samir. And we do have a few questions for you before you head off stage. So the first one is, I think, a very common question that most edtech companies get, especially in South Asia. So there are tons of edtech companies, in different countries, in different regions. So what makes you guys different specifically?
Yeah, so there are lots of edtech companies in the market that actually indicates the product has a great demand, but we are different in certain ways. Like our focus is to create job placements, students coming to us not only for learning, but also for getting jobs. The students who are doing well in our cohort-based programs, we are forwarding their CVs to our 100+ hiring partners, and some of them are getting jobs and internships after that. So that is number one. Number two is our learning method. We follow an integrated learning method, like students can ask direct questions to teachers, and we have like exclusive daily support sessions with each of the students. Each of the students are getting at least twice daily support sessions to solve their problems one-on-one, and that's how students are loving us. And number three, we have built a like ecosystem, like students coming to us for learning, and after learning they are getting jobs, and after getting jobs they are doing corporate training with us to upgrade themselves, and after that when they want to shift jobs they are again coming to us. So after acquiring one students, like there are multiple ways where we can like get revenue, and the relationship with one student is pretty much longer compared to other tech companies in the market. And number four is like we follow a really good strategy to hire top 1% experts from like different fields, and in education teachers play a really vital role. So that's why students are loving us, and automatically when the best instructors are working with us, it helps us in branding, and also it gives really quality learning experience to our students.
Okay, thank you, Samir. So another question that we have here is, what is your revenue model, whether it's per course or per placement? Can you share a bit about that?
Yeah, so our revenue model, we earn revenue from two sources. Like one is from selling courses, like it's pay per model. When any student want to do the cohort-based courses, at first they need to pay through our website, and that's how we earn. And second is from each successful placements. Like when we place successful students from our courses or from our talent pool, then we take 10% commission of their yearly salary from the companies we are working with. Yeah, so these are the two core revenue sources we are earning money. I think you are muted, Betty.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
So I think you are muted.
All right. We have quite a few questions here, but I think this question that's come in is quite common. I think I've heard this in one of our pitch nights, maybe. So is there a reason people prefer to use a digital platform rather than face-to-face recruiting or training in Bangladesh specifically?
Yeah, definitely. There are lots of reasons in Bangladesh, because in Bangladesh, one of the core like problem in our day-to-day life is traffic jam. So, and the target audience we are actually catering is like university students, young professionals, and freelancers. They are busy with their other works, like they are doing their university classes, doing office works. So after doing all kinds of things, it's really tough to do like face-to-face training and going from one place to another, because it takes at least 2 hours to 2 hours like at max 4 hours to again like go to the training center and coming to home. So 4 hours is a really like it's kind of 20% of your daily time, and it will be completely lost. So I think, and the audience like we are targeting their kind of mature audience, so that's why it's easier for them to like learn in online. And one of our top selling categories technology learning. So while learning coding in online is the most popular thing in nowadays, because like if you learn in online, you can get recording, you can get the like code review and other stuff, which is like pretty difficult in offline.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. So thank you for everyone who sent in the questions. We'll do our best to answer these during the rest of the program. So Samir, thank you for your pitch. And thank you for answering our questions from the audience today. Next up, we have our next startup from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka, but building for South Asia. I'd like to call on the COO and co-founder of Mintpay, Urmila.
Thanks, Bettina. Hi, everyone. I'm Urmila, co-founder and COO of Mintpay. So if I look at South Asia, which is what 1/4 of the world's population call it a home, but the financial ecosystem has not evolved to meet the needs of the modern consumers and merchants. 95% of the population is completely excluded from the traditional credit system. And what more, cash is still the king, driving 80% of all transactions. Why? Because of lack of better alternatives. So at Mintpay, we wanted to change this. Mintpay is a financial app that is unlocking retail economy. Mintpay is what over 150,000 customers today call it a shopping companion, and over 1,000 merchants have partnered with us to generate sales. So what do we offer? We offer a suite of products such as buy now, pay later, instant cashback rewards, vouchers, and discounts. Since our launch in 2020, we've been growing exponentially. In fact, last year, we generated an annual underlying sales of $3.25 million, which is a 3x growth compared to the year before. And what more, we've been cash flow positive since April of last year, which is a real challenge to many of our peers globally. And imagine in a market where the bank default rate is above 14%. What if I told you that we are able to maintain our default rate below 0.8%? And yes, that is a real testament to our technology. And that's just the beginning. We are going to hit $50 million in underlying sales by end of next year. And we have the right ingredients to do this. Starting off with our compelling business model, where we are able to charge a commission of 12% for every transaction that is done through Mintpay. And we charge this from our partner merchants. Essentially, we help them convert a sale that otherwise wouldn't be made. Therefore, we are able to keep our customer acquisition cost as just 50 cents. But once the customer does their first purchase with Mintpay, they're hooked onto it and they do all their future transactions with Mintpay. And therefore, their lifetime value with us becomes $32.6. So we are looking at a large untapped market. If you see Sri Lanka itself, it boasts a retail market size of $13 billion, and it is expected to be $27 billion by 2027. And just a 10% of this market would yield us $2.7 billion in underlying sales. And beyond Sri Lanka, we are also looking at a much larger opportunity of $200 billion. And this is the cumulative market size, retail market size of Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Maldives combined. We have a great team. So myself and my co-founder, Raj, we both come from an engineering background, but in our previous corporate life, we have experience in entrepreneurship, where we've launched multiple startups in the US and Europe markets. Our chairman, Bernard Sinaya, he's the ex-managing director of Citibank London. We are also backed by K3 Ventures, Accelerating Asia, and Tinity. And we are currently raising $1 million as our pre-Series A investment to take us to the next level of our growth. 35% of this fund has already been committed. So I invite you to join us in this journey as we change the way people pay in South Asia.
Thank you so much, Urmila. All right. So we have, again, reminder to everyone that you can send in questions via the Q&A. And even if it's not answered live, our founders, if there's time, can also answer it on the Q&A function afterwards. All right. So the first question for you, and I believe your co-founder Raj is with you as well, yes. Is what is your go-to market strategy when it comes to Bangladesh?
Right. So having launched it in Sri Lanka, which was a market where Mintpay is quite new, or the concept of what we launched was new. We know we have a playbook. So the first thing is that we have to establish the right partnership with the banks. So thanks to our regional partner, MasterCard, we were able to establish our partnership with the Bangladesh Bank. And also we have already established partnerships with some retailers in the fashion industry. So we will be going to market through the first 5 retailers that we have selected and test the market based on which we will pick our technology and before we go hard.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And we have another question here. Could you expound more, tell us more about the supply side of your strategy in terms of vendor acquisition? I think you mentioned a bit about partnering with some retail merchants and some strategic partners. So maybe you can expound on that.
Right. So we partner with, so we have a business development team who actively they generate lead and they actively reach out to these leads and acquire the merchants. So once we acquire the merchants, then we integrate to their platform. If they have a website, we integrate as a plugin at the checkout. And also underneath, we put the price breakdown. If something is like $30, we say pay in 3 installments of $10 with Mintpay. So this helps us convert the browsing customers to paying customers. And also, if they have like a in-store, like an offline channels, then we account, and also we give them the QR codes where they can process Mintpay payments.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I believe there's a question here about POS and in-store, but I think you answered this as well already. So let me clear that out. And then the next question is, I don't think a lot of us here in the room are that familiar with the Sri Lankan market, especially in your sector. So you mentioned the size of the market, but can you expound on just how big this can actually be in Sri Lanka?
Yeah. So if you see Sri Lankan population is, like you correctly mentioned, it's only 22 million. It's relatively small compared to the other South Asian countries. But if you see the retail market size itself is $13 billion, and it's going to be 27 billion by 2027. So we've already been named as the leader for BNPL last year by Merchant Machine UK. We are growing at a rapid pace, as you can see, 20% month on month. And as a leader, at least 10% of that would yield us like 2.7 billion. Yeah.
Okay. I believe we're out of time already. So thank you so much, Urmila, for answering the questions and for giving such a wonderful pitch. For those who still have questions, our panelists can also answer this in the Q&A function. So please continue to drop your questions as we go along. All right. So we are at our fourth pitch, incoming fourth pitch now. So I'd like to call to the virtual stage the co-founder of UXArmy, TJ Park.
Okay, welcome to UXArmy, the AI-powered user research platform. So I usually like to start off with a question. Did you know that bad user experience is estimated to cost companies $260 billion loss a year, according to Forrester Research? Now, the problem is that the companies are still creating products pretty much based on guesswork due to lack of timely user experience data suitable for product design and development. Now, our solution to this is a UX research platform integrated with user panel and backed with AI-generated user insights and benchmark to remove the guesswork for everyone in the process so that your product can be created right the first time. Our customers are able to create 40% faster and 26% cheaper. Now here, you see Mr. Chia from our panel giving feedback to our customer who runs a gym club on their website. So using our platform, our customers are able to, one, evaluate how well their prototype or live product meets the needs of their target users. Two, get some ideas in terms of how to improve the feature or product, hearing directly from users as well as through their own observation. And discover some unmet needs. And they can do this with ease using our platform. Product teams at top brands are using UXArmy. In the last 6 months alone, we saw 300% growth in the number of customers on our annual plan. And we just closed the largest Q4 ever at $280,000 booked revenue, which is 7 times out of Q1, and an average 20% month-over-month growth throughout the year. And the growth will keep going. We're going to enter the US and have AI in our platform. Our AI will focus on 3 key pain points in user experience, which is test creation with automated test creation, virtual personas, and insight aggregator. As a business, we're enterprise SaaS, and we're currently focusing on enterprise sector. As revenue stream, we have 2 main, which is subscription to the platform as well as credit to user panel. Now, the founding team has 35 years plus of combined experiences in UX, Cooldeep is a lifetimer in software development and user research for B2C companies. I come with complementary business skills in finance and business development. Currently, we're raising $300,000. 50% is committed, and we're looking to close in the next few weeks. And we will have a subsequent round. This will lay the foundation to reach our long-term vision of becoming a platform integrated into the product software development process, fundamentally and systematically changing the way products are created. So join us and help us create better experience for everyone. My LinkedIn contact is on top as a QR code, and both founders' contact information is below.
Thank you so much, TJ, for the pitch. And I think I always tell you this, that I always love listening to your voice when you pitch. It's so pleasant to listen to. So thank you for that. Our first question for you is, you mentioned expansion into the US at some point. And could you expound on why you chose the US specifically?
First of all, UX is the largest market in terms of user research. And the willingness to pay is higher. So that's a market that we want to be in. Now, two, we're already getting inquiries from the US clients based in the companies based in the US, even though we're not doing much of advertising there. So we know that there is a segment that is looking for alternatives, although they do have top brands. And the third one is essentially US is deemed as more mature market for UX research. And therefore, having a recognized brand in the US will help us sell more and better, help build our credibility in our core market, which is Asia.
Okay, thank you, TJ. The next question is, why do customers choose you? I think there are different alternatives that may or may not be direct competitors with UXArmy, but why would they end up choosing UXArmy anyway?
Yeah, okay. So if I were to, actually, I have a slide prepared for this. I get this question quite a lot. So if I were to talk about why they're choosing us now, in the current form. So the top reasons are, one, that we're an end-to-end user research platform. There are a lot of, there are competitors out there, but most of them provide fragmented offering. And what that means is, they can test with their prototype, but not with their live app. Or they can test on a desktop, but they can't get any feedback if they want to do testing on a mobile phone. So in our case, we not only give you flexibility to use different devices and also, test prototype designs as well as live product, but also we support different research methodologies. So you can have user interview to discover unmet needs, or have people actually try out a product, give them a specific task to do, and watch how it's done. So unmoderated testing. So I think it's that flexibility which really appeals to the core customer that we're going after, which is the enterprise. And then one very distinct differentiator is that we're the only platform company among those who can even claim to be end-to-end who has a strong user panel in Asia. Okay. So why is having a strong panel important? Because what good is a platform if you don't have any data or insights in it? It's the people from the panel that will give you the feedback to give you ideas and help you discover the unmet needs. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, TJ. There are actually a lot of questions from audience, which you can answer after you hop off the virtual stage. So thank you for answering my questions. And for those who still have questions for TJ, please put in the Q&A and she can answer you on the Q&A function. So thank you again, TJ, and let's head off to the next pitcher. So hailing from India, we have Kunwar, the co-founder and CEO of noApp.
Hello everyone, my name is Kunwar Raj and I'm the founder at noApp. We are the easiest to use WhatsApp marketing platform built over the official WhatsApp business API. We are building from India, but for the globe. Amit and I are the two co-founders and we have done it before. This is the second startup that we are working on. My previous startup was backed by Y Combinator and we raised more than $1 million and had a successful exit. So currently we're solving three major problems. Marketers find it extremely hard to integrate WhatsApp into their existing business journeys. It takes more than 4 to 6 weeks of engineering hours to get started. Second, customers are dropping off like mad on other platforms like email and SMS. And third is the changing nature of the Meta WhatsApp API. It changes at least thrice every year. So it's very difficult for marketing teams or engineering teams to build the entire solution in-house. So what we've built is a no-code platform that is enabling marketers to start using WhatsApp for the business in a single day. So you basically have to sign up on our platform, get verified with Meta, and you're good to go. We give you access to our platform where you can create WhatsApp marketing campaigns, create journeys, create multiple chatbots, and also build automations on your marketing campaigns. And we give you detailed analytics on your open click sales rates. We also tell you what works for you, what doesn't work for you. A/B test, you can A/B test different marketing campaigns. Basically, it's a detailed dashboard for everything that's happening on your WhatsApp. But why now? The first reason is email marketing is not working. Our inboxes are full of spam. Marketers, and second reason is marketers don't like using omni-channel platforms. It's very difficult to navigate, and WhatsApp is too advanced and has a lot of features which other platforms or communication channels don't have. Third is that customers want a quick, solid customer support at their fingertips, which WhatsApp provides. And fourth is AI. We are at a standpoint where AI can dramatically reduce costs and increase revenue at the same time. So we just started last year and we're already doing more than $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We actually finished January at more than $30,000 and we're planning to hit $1 million in ARR in this year itself. So our month-on-month revenue growth is 20%. Our monthly retention rate of our customers is 99%, and we have an LTV to CAC ratio at 4:1. And we also created a Guinness World Record. One of our customers used WhatsApp, our WhatsApp platform, to send more than 2.5 million messages in less than 1 hour to host the largest yoga session online. This was like a very special moment for us and wouldn't have been possible if WhatsApp wasn't there. Now we're coming to our business model. It's pretty simple. We have a subscription fee, which averages around $50 per month. We have around 85% margins there. And then we have a conversation or usage fee where we have 12% markups over the Meta cost. Now the total market opportunity is more than $40 million, growing at a rate of 15% every year. And we're just getting started. Our plan is to hit $100 million in ARR in the next 5 to 6 years. We're raising a small $500,000 round to get started. 150K is already committed. The main goal is to hit 1 million ARR this year and invest in engineering, sales, marketing, and also build the entire brand and invest a lot in growth marketing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kunwar. And I think for my first question, I'm going to throw at you a question that you get all the time, which is there are tons of MarTech SaaS platforms that also are connected to WhatsApp. And how do you differentiate yourselves as noApp?
Got it. Yeah, so basically we have two sets of competitors. One, like I mentioned, are omni-channel platforms which provide marketing and support functions for SMS, email, and a lot of other platforms as well. So there we are clearly differentiating as marketers or young marketers, the companies who are hiring these days have a strong preference towards focused platforms, and they really prefer our platform over omni-channel platforms. And when it comes to platforms or SaaS platforms, which are, let's say, direct competitors, which are focusing on WhatsApp, we as a company have decided to focus only on marketing as a use case. So we call ourselves the MailChimp for WhatsApp, and there are hundreds of features that our competitors don't have, which are specifically for marketing. And when you look at the volume or the business generated, 90% of the volume for WhatsApp is due to the marketing messages. So there we are clearly differentiating with marketer-focused niche that we're developing.
All right. Thank you so much, Kunwar. And then my next question for you is that, well, this is quite applicable to many different types of businesses, a lot of potential customers. So what is your ideal customer profile then?
So we are majorly going after B2C companies, specifically startups as of now, because we can close them quickly and the sales cycle is very short. But in the longer term, we want to focus on large enterprises as well. So the target profile or the ideal customer profile is like a company which has a decent marketing budget to start with and is going after the B2C segment.
All right. And last question is, how long does it take for a client or a company to go live with your platform?
So if they're already verified with Meta, it takes less than a day. In case they require verification with Meta, the max it goes is 7 to 14 days based on Meta's response. But most customers go live with us within a week of signing up on our platform.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Kunwar. That's all the time we have. And in case other questions do come through, feel free to answer it on the Q&A function as well. Okay, let's keep it going. We've got three more pitches, and I hope that everyone is still doing well, getting a glass of water, maybe a snack. So let's head over to our next pitch. I'd like to call on the CEO and co-founder of ORKO, Talha Khan.
Hi everyone, my name is Talha Khan. I'm the co-founder and CEO at ORKO. At ORKO, we are powering Pakistan's electric two-wheeler ecosystem. Pakistan unfortunately ranks as having the second worst air quality in the world. A lot of that has to do with the tailpipe emissions that are attributable to the 30 million petrol-based two-wheelers that are currently on the road across the country. The government of Pakistan has identified this as a major climate emergency and is now strongly discouraging the issuance of new license for commercial petrol-based two- and three-wheelers and instead incentivizing EV registrations in the same category. This has created a huge market opportunity. Pakistan is already the fifth largest two- and three-wheeler market in the world that is now experiencing a rapid move towards electrification. The SAM of this market right now stands at $300 million and is expected to grow to $4 billion in the next 4 years and SOM from $30 million to $1 billion. However, there are three key reasons why this transition to EVs is not happening even faster. And those three reasons are that fleet operators aren't really sure which electric vehicle models are best suited for their specific use case. Secondly, they're concerned about range anxiety associated with EVs. And finally, they're not too sure about the financial return profiles of these EVs. This is where ORKO comes in. ORKO helps identify and deploy the right kind of electric vehicle that is best suited for our customers' use case. These use cases vary from ride-hailing to marketplace logistics to grocery and food delivery. And the best thing is that the vehicles that we deploy do not require any major charging infrastructure. Along with the vehicle, we also provide ORKO's proprietary connected vehicle platform, which automates all the operational aspects of managing a highly optimized fleet. All of this ultimately results in up to 50% reduced operations cost for our fleet customers and 30% reduction in overall operational complexity of running an EV fleet. Our business model is simple. We don't own the EVs. We rent them out on an average monthly rental fees of $150 per vehicle per month, and we make about 43% gross margins on their monthly rental. Since our launch, since the last 5 months, we have been able to grow 6x in our MRR, and we are currently averaging $13,000 of monthly recurring revenue last month, and this month in January we've closed $17,000. We're on track to achieve $125,000 of monthly recurring revenue by the end of this year, and during which we will hit net cash flow positive status in June this year. We've been able to onboard some major customers so far, including the likes of K Electric, the largest electric utility company in the country, Daraz, which is the Amazon of South Asia, as well as some major electric vehicle manufacturers that combined represent up to 70% sales in the electric category. Our founding team is very balanced and brings in 50 plus years of experience across the industries of EV, shared mobility, and high growth tech companies. These set of experiences put us in a very good position to solve for problems which are at the intersection of mobility and technology. And recently, we have established a partnership with an existing Malaysian fleet operator that is going to allow us to launch ORKO Malaysia as soon as next month, which is March 2024. To continue our growth trajectory, we are now looking to raise our seed funding of $350,000 through a safe note, This will allow us to hit our critical milestone of achieving 1.5 million of annual recurring revenue by the end of this year. We would love you to have us join us on this journey as we create value across the EV ecosystem in Pakistan and the region. Thank you. Looking forward to your questions.
Thank you so much, Talha. So I think the first question that I have for you is, we're not quite familiar with, I guess, the regulations around Pakistan when it comes to your EV vehicles in general. So what role is the government playing to support EV adoption in Pakistan?
Yeah, so there are actually two big initiatives that have happened recently, which is accelerating the transition from the government side. First is that importers, so if anyone who's assembling or manufacturing electric 2 and 3-wheelers in Pakistan has to pay a net 1% duty overall, customs duty and sales tax, inclusive of all the taxes, which actually makes EV 2 and 3-wheeler quite affordable and competitive. And as a result, we're seeing very high adoption. Secondly, in one of the largest provinces in Pakistan, the government has decided to discourage the issuance of licenses of petrol-based 2 and 3-wheelers and have made the process of registration of EVs a lot simpler. These two things combined is really helping drive the adoption.
Okay, thank you. And so I think another question that we have is that since you're quite familiar with the market in Pakistan, let's go a little bigger. So why do you think the EV 2-wheeler market is an opportunity in South and Southeast Asia, not just Pakistan?
Yeah, so there are two key reasons for that. Actually, the first is that in the very large markets like Indonesia, as well as Pakistan, Vietnam, and Malaysia to a large extent as well, where 2, 3-wheelers are quite dominant, there are two key trends that are happening at the same time. The first is that the upfront cost of manufacturing and assembling the individual components of EVs is going down exponentially every year as companies achieve economies of scale, which is why actually replacing an existing petrol bike with an EV bike makes a lot of sense. And then the per kilometer cost or the operational cost of owning an EV is significantly lower. They're low maintenance, they require much less maintenance, so hence a lot of fleets are adopting. Secondly, if you look at the top 30 or top 50 most polluted cities in the world, unfortunately, this part of the region, South and Southeast Asia, has an overwhelming majority of urban cities in that list. So there's a lot of incentive both on the economic side as well as on the environment side for South and Southeast Asian cities to transition towards EVs.
Okay. Thank you, Talha. So I think those are all the questions for now. We do have a few more that are in the Q&A function, so please do check that out and answer it for our guests today. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Talha. Let's keep it going. So our next pitch is from one of our AI portfolio companies now. So I'd like to call on the CEO and co-founder of BrickandMortar.ai, Saad Abrar.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Bettina. Hi, guys. Today I'll be talking about brick and mortar and AI analytics. My name is Saad. I'm the CEO and co-founder. I have around 16 years of experience in developing AI-based solutions for brick and mortar industry around Europe and Asia. My co-founder, he's a PhD in computer vision and AI, a Fulbright scholar, and a winner of the prestigious Google Research Scholar Award. Imagine for a moment that you're an e-commerce company. Now, as per Forrester, if you use tools like Google Analytics for your decision-making, you can improve your revenues by 25%. That's cool. But now imagine that you're a brick and mortar space owner. How would you feel when I tell you these tools are not for you? Doesn't seem fair, right? As long as your business is small, you're in one location, it's fine. You're pretty much on top of things. But what if you have branched off in multiple locations and you have large premises? Then what do? Yes, you have data from the POS system, or you can do some manual surveys, which are often inaccurate, but they don't answer you key questions. For example, what are your conversion ratios? What is your customer footfall and occupancy? What are your key customers metrics around your customer footfall? Who is your customer? What is his demographics? How productive are your employees, especially when no one is looking? Is your store size and shelf placement optimum? Are you paying more than what you should have been? These problems, as per McKinsey, of lack of analytics cause a huge dent in the bottom line, around 35%. And it's not an isolated problem. 88% companies suffer from it. Imagine the TAM. This is where we come in. BrickandMortar.ai is an AI-based video analytics system. We connect with existing CCTV infrastructure. Why? Because they are present everywhere. And we process them and churn out intelligence in real time. This is what the system looks like. The cameras are already processing, capturing all the information, and our AI at the back is extracting meaningful information out of it. And we've churned out 3 levels of intelligence. Number 1 is the person on the ground. He gets an alert on what key decisions he needs to take based upon events happening in his premises right now, which make all the difference in conversions. Then we have a dashboard for strategic reporting. And then we have a generative AI component now, where in a conversational manner, you can not only unearth hidden patterns of information, but also have a good discussion about what is going on about in your organization across for your customer footfall. We've already proven for one of our clients, the largest mall in South Asia, to improve their earnings by 20%, enhance customer experience because now they have eyes literally everywhere. And the ROI was less than 3 months. In fact, now they make money by selling our analytics to others, making it a no-brainer for them. Being software AI on the edge, having plug-and-play use cases ready, not requiring new CCTV hardware, being GDPR compliant, and using generative AI in practice makes us a truly unique value proposition. We have a very steady traction. We have recently transitioned from development to sales, and that's why you see this sudden uptick in conversion. This is expected to go on. We're a deep tech company, and we have a very, very healthy forecast coming up. This is not out of the air because a very large network of organizations are already evaluating us. We're going live in Singapore, in Universal Studios Singapore, for a pilot in mid of February. And the other big names you see are already post-pilot in different levels of approval. We're currently raising $500,000. We've already raised 140 to make BrickandMortar.ai the monopoly in the domain of physical space analytics. We'll be mostly investing in customer acquisition. We'll be looking forward to have you join our journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sad. So my first question, and I think this is always a concern when it comes to these type of models, right, with our products, is how do you deal with data privacy?
Yeah, so even when we do facial recognition for customer journey identification or repeat versus unique customers, we do not save anything. None of the facial information is being stored anywhere. None of the images are stored anywhere. What is stored in the database is just numerical numbers, and that's what we use for our analytics. In fact, this is what actually makes us a differentiator with people who do AI on the cloud, where video is shifted on the cloud. That we never do. It's on the premises and no images being stored anywhere.
Okay, thank you. We have a question here. So what is the accuracy of your model?
So it's for different use cases. Like, for example, people counting, we're already 99.5%. Age, gender is also 98%. Age gets a bit tricky, and that's why we have these bands. So instead of saying someone is 26 or 27-year-old, we have like 20 to 30 or 30 to 40. There we have a very reasonable accuracy of 97.5%. But it really depends upon the environment and what sort of model you're talking about.
All right. And I guess our last question for you today is, what is your ideal customer profile?
Oh, that's a very interesting one. So you can see, I mean, all physical spaces are can actually use our system. What we are focusing right now is on retail, chain stores, and now with Universal Studios, and there are other also examples coming in. We're going into large premises analytics like malls or large conferences or exhibition areas as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Sad. So I think that wraps up your pitch. And please do check out the questions that are coming in for you in the Q&A function. All right. So going back to our last and final pitch of the day, I'd like to call back to the stage Mr. Jim Huang, the CEO and founder of Peel Lab.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jim from Peel Lab. We make pineapple leather for B2B. So leather is everywhere, from the wallets you carry, the shoes you wear, to the sofa you're sitting on. But it's the most damaging material to the environment. 80 billion gallons of water are consumed during the production of leather, and 80% of that animal hide is actually wasted because of mosquito bites or scratches. People working at the tannery are also exposed to additional risk in cancer. This is where Peel Lab comes in. Our vision is to replace 1% of the existing leather by 2030, and our missions are to upcycle food loss, prevent animal cruelty, and reduce carbon footprint. Our business model of B2B is a simple one. We source pineapple leaves, the leftover pineapple leaves, from farmers and factories. We then bring that to our manufacturing site, and our typical production lead time is anywhere between 1 to 2 months. We can also produce finished merchandise using our leather for our customers as well. The market size is a big one of over $400 billion. We do have first mover advantage here in Asia, especially in Japan. We will continue to lead through innovation and quality and pricing. In terms of the advantages that we have over animal leather, we are much lighter compared to animal leather. We can customize the thickness of the leather. We offer a 10-year, up to 10-year of life cycle on durability. We are waterproof, scratch resistance. We can be fireproof. We can have protection against UV light, maintains the original texture with a lot less environmental burden. These are some of the products that we have already done for our customers, such as furnitures for hotels and restaurants. We also make the traditional Japanese school bag on the bottom left of your screen. We also make fashion and accessories, as well as sports for a variety of our B2B customers. These are some of the customers that we have, over 60 paying customers in the last 24 months, from automakers to fashions and accessories. We're also in discussion with European fashion houses, as well as Apple and the car makers. In terms of our unit economics, we have a healthy margin of $22 per meter. We're selling at between $28 to $40 compared to $60 of cowhide. Our annual capacity is over more than 1 million meters a year. This is our traction last year. We have a healthy monthly recurring revenue of roughly between $5,000 to $10,000. We had a huge spike in October last year because of one of our large customers came in with a huge order so we hit a $55,000 of revenue. In terms of our projection in the next 5 years, we're hoping to hit over $100 million over a number of our customers that we currently are speaking with. In terms of the impact that we have, we manufacture almost 10,000 meters of pineapple leather. That means over a ton of pineapple leaves that we upcycle and roughly about 950 tons of CO2 emission reduced. We are a team of 7, soon to be 8. We're spread out between Japan, Thailand, and US. I'm a 2-time serial entrepreneur with 2 exits already. This is my 3rd startup, also focused on sustainability. We're looking to raise $1 million. We already have identified a lead investor in Japan. We're hoping to use that capital to generate a sales of at least $10 million over the next 48 months. And we're hoping to hit $100 million in the next 5 years. Thank you, and we hope you can join us on our mission for a better future.
Thank you so much, Jim. And first, before the questions, I want to say that we're so happy to have you here, finally pitching with Cohort 9 by your side. So first question is, of course, you get a lot of questions about comparisons with other, like, let's say, animal cowhide and then other plant-based leathers that's not pineapple. So can you talk about the durability and cost competitiveness of pineapple leather versus other leathers?
Sure. So in Japan, we have gone through what we call a jungle test. So jungle test means 85 degrees of temperature and 85% of moisture level for 30 days and 60 days. We have done it. Our customers in Japan have done it for us as well. And we've gone through an abrasion test and tensile strength test. And the durability is coming out a lot better compared to animal leather and on par with some of the premium grades of the synthetic leather out there. In terms of pricing, because we regionally source our raw materials, pineapple leaves, mainly in Asia, especially in Southeast Asia, and we also manufacture locally in the region. Therefore, we can reduce lead time and logistic costs. So our pricing is way cheaper compared to animal leather. Here's a sample. I don't know if you guys can see it, but here's a sample of our leather that we have done. Different textures. This one looks like it's got the animal grain on it, so it's perfect for that Hermes bag that you're looking at. You can substitute this with our plant-based leather. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jim. And I think the last question that I have for you is, oh, no, wait, we do have some questions here in the Q&A. So how does your product compare to existing synthetic leather? So I think the comparison you made earlier was with the plant leather and animal cowhide. So is it manufactured in-house or outsourced? But I think you covered this a little bit earlier.
Yeah, in terms of comparison with synthetic leather, we are on par with the synthetic leather comes in different grades. Some of them are dirt cheap, and they comes at PVC quality, and so it rips after like a month. We compare to the premium grade of the synthetic leather. In terms of pricing, we are on par also with the synthetic leather out there as well. So when you are looking at two choices of leather, ours is eco-friendly and it gives a story, and everything else is on par with synthetic leather, and therefore it gives you a sort of no-brainer choice to come to Pure Lab. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. I believe we have another question in the Q&A, but I'll leave that for you to answer on the Q&A segment itself. So thank you so much for your pitch. And that wraps up Cohort 9's virtual demo day. So we have heard from the 8 startups of Cohort 9, and today is the last day that they will be doing something together as a cohort. So while we can't hear a round of applause virtually, I'm hoping that everyone here has enjoyed hearing their pitches, and everyone here, if you want to get in touch with any of them, their emails are actually in the chat, but we'll also be sharing their details even after the event is done. And in any case, if you want to reach out to me, Alex, Craig, feel free to reach out to us. We're on LinkedIn, and I can also pop in my email in the chat. So let me do that now. And while I do that, I will leave up the QR code where you can see the. Give me a second. I'll put up the QR code again because I believe it is lagging now. But this is where you will be able to see the highlights from the last 3 months of the program, also the complete list of Cohort 9 and who the founders are, to make sure that you know who's behind all the names of these companies. All right. Again, thank you so much to everyone. And I'll leave this up for a few more seconds for you to scan. And I'm dropping my email as well in the chat for if in any case that you want to reach out to the founders but can't seem to reach out directly, feel free to reach out to me. All right. I know we're a bit over time, so let's go and close this program. Let me call on, for our final words, our general partner and co-founder of Accelerating Asia, Amra Naidu.
Hey, hello everyone. So I will be very quick because I know we are running a little bit over time. First, I want to thank you all for joining us today, for spending some of your very, very precious time with us and to listen to all of the founders pitch. I do want to give you 3 call to actions because that's kind of just the best way to keep your mind fresh. So the first is that these startups are all fundraising. Now is the best time to get in. And so if you are interested, please contact us. You've got all of the founder contact details in the chat as well. The second thing is that if investing directly in a company is something that you are not interested in exploring and you'd like access to a bigger portfolio, then we are always looking to work with really great strategic investors through our fund, and you can contact us directly for that as well. So thank you so much for all your time today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever time zone you're in. And I want to give a really big shout out to, 1, the founders for doing such an incredible pitch. And 2, to the team. So Bettina, Chris, Jill, Alex, and Craig in the backgrounds there, making sure that this whole thing runs really, really smoothly. Thank you again so much.
Thank you so much, Amra. And that wraps up our demo day for today. So thank you, everyone. And we'll see you guys hopefully in the next demo day that we have for our following cohort, which will be recruiting soon. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.